Hi, this is Paul Neale from Pen Productions, and today I'm going to do a demo on how to retopo this character. He was modeled in Mudbox, and he was started just from a sphere, so the poly count here is absolutely massive in the scene. It's about 33 million polygons, and you can see that the face and whatnot is very, very high polygon count. So this is not really usable in production whatsoever, but it's great for being able to get the normal maps and, of course, being able to sculpt it. And I started with a sphere for this character, so very clean way to start building your characters. I exported this over to Max, and I'll just close this, and here we are in Max. So here's Vincent. Now I stepped him down a whole lot to be able to do this, and we can see that there's nowhere near as many vertices, because Max would probably grown a fair bit if we threw that many vertices at it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start doing the retopo. I'm going to isolate Vincent's head to start with. And we're going to go to the freeform modeling tools. And because this is an editable poly, the freeform modeling tools will show up. I'm going to set a little bit of offset. First, I'm going to start with a new object, though, as I tab on the side here and say new object. I'm going to call this new object Vincent Geo Head Retopo. And we're going to say we're going to draw on a surface, and we're going to pick the head. His name was Dooku, so it's now no longer that. It's Vincent. It started with sort of a reference to the Dooku character from the Clone Wars, as I start with a bit of a reference for that. So I didn't know what his name was until I finished it, but he now reminds me of Vincent Price. What we're going to do is we're going to start looking at building a retopo based on the curvatures of the face and how it's going to have to move and react once the face is being animated. Mouth is going to have to be able to open wide and stretch, so we're going to need lines that follow around the curvature of the mouth, lines curve around the eyes, curves that follow some of the contours of this very angular face. We don't have nice sharp lines following some of the contours. There's no way we're actually going to get the kind of shapes and forms of the lower res model that we'd expect to see. So let's get started. With probably main tool I'll use is the topology tool. Let's start with that. And the topology tool allows you to draw lines onto the surface. Now we'll go right around to the edge of the laugh lines there. We'll go one just around the top of the mouth, sort of around the outer edge of the mouth. We'll go one right to the inner edge of the lip. Follow that loop around for now. We don't want to do a lot of lines here. We want to keep them really nice and big, really nice and bold. Now as we cross over, we're actually going to get polygons drawn. And so let's take one out the corner. Now we're going to match these for the most part down the bottom. Again, one down the center-ish again. Fix that later. And right-click to end. And what it does is it builds this new polygon into our face. And we're going to change the color of that so it's not so pink. And there's the polygons that have been built. If I move that out, you can see that it's followed the face. So these are nice edge loops. Now we don't want to add a lot here. We just want to accept the fact that they're going to be very rough at this point in time and very few. So it's going to be easier to sort of connect everything together. What we don't want to do is start in one corner and then move out from there. What we really want to do is start by working on the main areas first. Let's get one around the eye. Here's another way to do it without actually even using the retopo tools. I'm going to go to the 3D snap and right click and turn off grid, turn on face. Go into the polygon mode in our editable poly, and we're going to just go to the regular modeling tools and say create. We're going to create basically a big stop sign around the eye. So I'm going to start at the top and just drop them. And right click to end, and we'll get a polygon over top of the eye. Using the inset, and then to our scale, just to make it a little bit easier, pull it in. Now we need to get that to lay on the surface. So back to the freeform tools, and we're going to pick up the conform brush. Conform brush will open this extra dialog. It's usually floating. I always dock it in. And one of the things you want to do right off the bat is set the conform to 100 so that it conforms properly. Next brush we're going to use is going to be the conform move, and the conform value is still at height. We can use control for the outer and shift for the inner for hotkeys for resizing it. And I'm just going to make this see-through so that I can see what I'm doing. And we're just going to take this around to the corner. And we'll push this around the edge of the eye. Probably about there, I guess. I think I'm going to turn off the selection as well in the viewport. Shade selected faces just so I can see through a bit better. Make sure that I'm hitting those edges. Your eyelids in there somewhere. Have to see that. Now I'm going to do one more inset. And again, I'm just going to go and grab the scale and just pull it in. Back to the conform and conform it in. And just push it back into the back of the eye. It looks like it can go back a bit more. So this is going to end up back in the back of the eyeball by the end of it. So again, what that's giving me is this nice curve. Now I want to pull it out a bit more. I want to take it right out to the outer edges here. Probably going to want to follow this contour eventually. So I want to go quite a ways out. And I'll probably even follow this down, maybe down through the middle of the bump under the eye and around the outside. So the idea being is again, we don't want to refine this anymore at this stage. We want to continue on until we've got most of it all sort of laid out, all these main curves laid in, so that we can then start filling in between them. And the filling in becomes quite easy once we have all the lines addressed. Let's get one around and a cross over the top of the nose, down the laugh line around the outside. We want to try and avoid welding in, so I'm probably going to carry it around a little too far away, because it'll probably want to try and weld it into the rest, and it's going to carry right across the front. And we're going to bring this down, and I'll go across there somewhere. We're going to want lines now that we can start looking at and thinking about how they're going to match up. So let's carry one across here. Let's carry one across there. From here down, they're probably not going to really match up until we start matching up lower down into the mouth that we already have. So let's just address those. Now when I right click, what you might see is it's going to attach this new piece that's just made, and it might weld it into this piece. Yeah, you can see where it suddenly decided it should weld it together. And this isn't exactly what we're looking for, so oops, I think I just hit a hotkey by mistake. There we go. Let's unweld that and make sure that it's separated. So in the edge mode, I can grab that edge and say this edge, and we can say split. And you can see now that they're split apart. So another move tool here, and this moves one vert at a time, and we can just go in and sort of separate these and separate them out. The reason I don't want them welded is I don't want to start building triangles. This is going to get turbo smoothed, and I want to make sure that I get as many quads as possible and avoid ending up with a pile of triangles I have to go and get rid of. We want to follow this contour up now as well. You can do that in another tool as well. There's this one here called Extend. And if you just grab and extend, it looks like, sorry, before we go on, it looks like I have one more here I just need to fix that welded itself in. There we go. Fix that up. So we can either build lines off, which works perfectly well, by going and grabbing a line across polygons where we're going to start, and then a line off. And then, again, creating polygons from there. Or another one you can actually use is called the extend. And if you grab the extend and pull it, it'll try and make a quad. It'll always want to make a quad out from it. But there's a lot of hotkeys to all of these tools, and all of them need to be used because they're very, very powerful. So in this one alone, there are 8 different hotkey combinations to get it to do all the possibilities that it can do. So if I just hold down Shift, I can also just drag out the polygons. hold down Control Alt Shift, I can also move polygons around, or sorry, vertices around in this case. So it becomes a quick way to just to sort of pull out and start building some. We could also just pull out from the corner and begin building, if you notice, other areas. So we're not going to do that for now. We're going to hold off, and we're going to wait until we've got some of the main contours again going and try to address those. Let's think about this nose. We need lots of sharp lines around the nose that we're going to have to deal with, and let's try and find a way to actually draw some of those again. So back to the topology tool, and I can do the same thing here that I did with the eye, or let's try it with a topology tool. Now you can't really close it. And what we can do to get around having to close it is just leave a little open spot here. Draw on our main lines, and we've lined all those up. And then just accept the fact that it's not going to close those right off the bat. And we're going to have to close it. So I'll right click to end, and of course now I've got these edges that need to be bridged together. So just go over to the bridge tool and tap on bridge, and it closes it up. Let's also just make sure that those points are in as good a placement as possible. I can see that this is probably going to connect into here somewhere eventually. It's going to have to go up somewhere. I want them following those contours. And again, as it becomes more refined, we'll be able to figure out where that all those go. And cap this off as well. 3 on the keyboard. Pick the area. Just say cap polygons. And let's just push it right inside the nose just to make sure that it is completely inside. Again, we're not too concerned with the fact that we're not getting the full contours yet. We're not even close to that point. We definitely need something following this jawline, because this jawline is very hard edge jawline, and it really is going to need something following that down again. Again, probably the best tool for that is going to be the topology tool. So let's just draw down. Now I couldn't go far enough, so again, if you hold your mouse over it, you'll get the hotkeys for this, and Shift and Control, and Shift will add to it, and Control will delete it. So we can just take it down and then just continue the line. We don't need to be overly particular with it. It just needs to get close because we can move them around. Now I am using a Wacom tablet because it's far easier to draw these lines. And here again, I'm trying to make sure I'm thinking about how they're going to match up to these existing lines that are up here, and not trying to create too many of them. So it's pretty good there. And you can start seeing where it's just going to fill itself in, and it's going to kind of build itself as we go. Around the ear is a tricky one because there's quite a bit of shape. Now this is a really simple ear, but we need to figure that out. So we're probably going to go around it or something. We're going to think about going around the head as well, and around these brows, and up and over the brow area, around the outside of the eye, I'm guessing. So that's probably going to get really tight in there. We're going to carry it up and over the nose. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. Again, I want to try and avoid them welding themselves at this stage of the retopo. Let's just move that out of the way. It's probably still going to weld itself. We can use the split in the edges. So let's carry something across the forehead, around, and around underneath the bag of the eye. We can kind of see a natural contour in there. Again, back over to our topology tool. Consider where that line is going to go. And over the bridge of the nose. I'm just going to make this pretty small and then move it all into place. I have a feeling it's going to do a lot of welding that I don't want to have happen at this stage. But we'll live with it for now and just split it apart if we have to. So it looks like even some of it didn't build, and every now and again it won't build, I find. So let's just correct that and make sure that it break these apart. Again, so into our edge, So I'm just going to say split, and we'll figure that out in a second. I'm going to say split, and over to our move tool, and split again here that I missed. Let's move that in. And sometimes you see it just gets confused, not quite sure where to go. So we could use these tools to be able to bring them together. I'm just going to use the bridge tool because this will be easier. There's another way of doing this, but it won't usually work across such big areas. So now you can see where the curves are going to go. All this needs to get pulled down. I'm probably going to come in here somewhere. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing we're going to end up needing a cut across here anyways. Oops. So let's just stick one in there for now. And then we can actually even, as we move this into place, it'll automatically stick itself down to the surface so that it's sitting there. I'm going to actually pop it up a couple more so we can see it maybe better and use our, there we go, you can see them all popping up a little bit. Lifting them off the surface a little bit more offset. Could even use a little more, I think. There we go. You can see it a little bit better now. So now where else can we see loops, or where can we start filling in the gaps to be able to keep the contours going? Maybe something up and over the forehead here. I could see this contouring around the forehead. We have a hair cap in here, so we're not going to necessarily need the back of the head is what it boils down to. So I'm just going to use this one for now. And again, I'm considering how they're going to link together. This will go down the center line. Good enough for now. Maybe right up and over the top. We'll figure out how to fill all that in. Let's go around the ear. Let's start off of here somewhere and take it off. Let's go around the ear and do a loop right around the ear. And we could probably just use the extend tool. And again, I'm moving the vertices by holding down a hotkey combination just to line them up better. And it is holding down Control, Alt, and Shift. Now let's bring this down and actually bridge it into the end here. So let's just try this new tool that we haven't looked at. And it is called the step build. And again, a pile of hotkeys. And if we step build, we can just grab, oops, you see it's holding down Shift. It's going to try and build it. Now, it may not like it. There you go. You have to sort of, it's just a matter of hitting in a certain area and not crisscrossing. And if it finds the polygons put together, it'll automatically bridge it together. Looks like we could add another one in between here. Again, we're just going to have to go over to our just add that in so that it connects here. Maybe that one will connect in there. We're going to need something else, I'm guessing. Maybe I need another one in there as well. That looks pretty good. So as the face starts getting built, we can address now filling this in a little bit, considering how to fill it in. And like I just showed, we can actually work with the step build, holding down Shift and just going around and clicking in areas that we know need to connect together. We know that are going to become, attached into one. And I'm not sure about this one at this point in time. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I'm guessing that might go to there at this point, and that's probably going to go there. And this one may not work. The step build will get confused at times. You got to be very careful that it's not accidentally building you a bunch of faces that you don't want. If it doesn't do anything, go and check and make sure that it hasn't done something that you don't want somewhere else, because you can get confused as it doesn't know where to put things. And it doesn't want to do that one either for some reason. It will do that one. can do that with a cap. And again, you can see where sometimes it just doesn't like trying to fill it in. And I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I'm thinking we're going to need another line up the nose at this point, and then probably carry that in, which is going to work better. So again, always be looking for those. I'm going to have something along that line. We're just going to pop that on there so it's stuck to the surface. Then consider that this is going to get bridged together. So that's probably going to go in there. We've got a triangle. Easy to get rid of the triangle. Add that one in. And there we go. So we can get rid of that triangle. Now this might be a bit messy. We might want to reconsider what I've just done there, but we can do that later as we get going. I'm going to go to the, just grab these two and cap them before I forget about them. And you can see where it's starting just to fill itself in and create the contours that we're expecting. Kind of see where something might happen here. I'm not sure I want to commit to it. I'm not sure it's going to be exactly what I want. So I think I'll just leave that one for now and try to start thinking about some other areas. Looks like we've got probably some good spots here for bridging across. So we can try bridging that. And that all seems to bridge nicely. And again, same hotkey even when you're in this tool to be able to move the vertices. I'm guessing we need another edge there. Let's just see if that'll bridge. It doesn't seem to want to. So we'll just leave that for now and go back and do it by hand. And I'm going to add edge loop there. Now I go down around maybe the center line and get that sorted out. Let's actually maybe get one around the neck. Get one around the neck too. That'll probably help. And we want to carry all the way down the center line for sure. So let's just get that drawn in. Let's just make something that goes and follows that center down. Something else the extend tool will do. If you hold down two hotkeys, Control and Shift, you can extend an entire edge loop in the direction that you want to go. So it makes it very nice just to be able to pull that entire edge loop out. And I'm going to expect this is probably going to come along this direction and weld in here somewhere. So actually, let's just extend this right over. And let's extend that somewhere in between. And then we can fill it in back to our extend. And you can see where an edge loop can be placed down the center there to make it fit later a little bit better. Again, with our extend tool, we can easily fill in this section here now, back to our freeform. Now, one of the things you keep seeing me is I keep having to open up and close the modeling to the freeform tools. One of the things you can do is we can drag it all off. So let's just drag that one off. Let's drag that one off because we might need it. Let's drag that off, and as these open, we're going to have to drag them off. We can even drag out the brush settings. And then we can leave them both open at the same time, side by side. And just might make it a little bit faster. We're not using our modeling tools on this side, and we can just get out into expert mode now and just work in expert mode to be able to go the rest of the distance, because we really don't need all the extra tools open. Just use the screen space as best we can. So that's looking pretty good. It's starting to come around. Now we can again I'm going to go grab these ones here and just do this with a bridge. Yeah, let's just bridge these across. And we have to consider what's going to happen here is we're going to end up with enough vertices, or we're going to end up too split apart. So it looks like it might be pretty good. I think it's going to become a big area, and we're going to want to do something else in here. But let's bridge them across anyways and see if we can get away with it. It's 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So bridge will bridge nicely in there. And then we're definitely going to have to lay in more edge loops in there. But again, what's really nice is it's just going to lay an edge loop really quick, and we can lay it down and pick up the surface very, very fast. So you can see that loop's going to carry all the way down around, probably underneath the nose, or right now it's going to carry up into the nostrils. Don't know if that's where I'm going to want to go with it. That can bridge across. This definitely is going to have some problems. We need some extra lines in here. So let's just move this apart, make some space for it. Let's add one there, and then we can just grab all those and bridge them again. And stop and consider where this edge loop is going to go. I guess into the nose is probably not too bad. We can make some room for it. So I still have the lines going way outside the mouth. One of the most important lines. So we have concentric circles going down in the mouth. We've got a nice clean line following the laugh line off the nose down and around, and that should get us a nice laugh line, because as the character starts to emote and starts to change facial shapes a lot, we need to have something to be able to define that laugh line really nicely. So I can tell you now, when I build facial rigs, I have clients that produce some fantastic models for me, and I'm able to produce them a better facial rig because they produced a better model to begin with. It's that old adage of crap in, crap out, and it can really affect how the end result is. You can see that's starting to get filled in quite nicely. So I'm going to continue this offline and try and fill the rest in, then we can discuss it. But I think that pretty much explains how to start building that face around. So we'll back to the second part is I fill the rest of this in, and we start to refine it.